Okay, I'm in the video making mood, so I'm gonna keep going. My next subject I would like to talk to, I'd like to talk a little bit about accents, particularly the Utah accent, and then accents in general. But I used to think in Utah, at least in Salt Lake City, we did not have an accent. To my ears, I was, most of the people I heard on television sounded like the people around me, and therefore I thought, oh, we don't have an accent. And then I was called, as a young man, I was called as a missionary to Japan, and I got to a different perspective. I had this experience where, let's see that up a bit. This experience where we had a missionary conference, and some new sister missionaries were in the mission. And when I talked to one of them, something sounded so familiar to me that I said, hold it. Okay, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I said, your accent, I'm going to predict, number one, you're from Salt Lake City, but I'm going to go one step further. So like Salt Lake City, it was just not there's a lot of missionaries from Salt Lake City, but I'm going to peg your high school. Are you from, I can't remember which high school I said, but I think, are you from Highland High? I think I said Highland High. She said, yes, how did you know? And I swear to you that growing up in high school, the accents changed from high school to high school, particularly with the girls. Particularly with the girls for some reason, at least in my mind was. Or maybe I was just lucky and got it, but it just sounded so familiar, like girls from this one high school. They talk this way. And then I got it right. So, and then about 30, 40 years later, I went to a high school reunion, and I had kind of another eye-opener. I thought, I was listening to some of the girls from my high school chatting with each other, and they had this old familiar twang that, I thought, oh my heavens, in Utah we do have an accent, and high school to high school we have different accents. I mean, similar, but just slightly different. Just slightly different way to turn a phrase or to intonate something. But not only language, but I remember we could almost tell which high school, particularly girls, well, maybe some of the guys too, you could tell which high school they went to by the brand of jeans they wore. I think, what was it? I think my high school was Jordache jeans, and then some other high school, anyways, had these bell bottoms with the kind of this yellow stitching that went across the butt and down all the way, kind of a horseshoe shape. I can't remember what brand that was, but I swear to you, the brand of jeans that each high school wore, I guess, was different. I found it fascinating. Anyways, getting back to accents. So Utah, one thing I'll notice, there's a town north of Salt Lake called Ogden, Utah. It's, the accent is slightly different. And I don't know if this is country versus city, or city, and maybe geography is irrelevant, but it seems to be an Ogden type of thing. There was one guy who was from Ogden who was talking in church, and he said, "Are there any others? We're looking for volunteers for something." And some people raised their hand. He said, "Are there any others? Others? Are there any others?" I thought, oh my heavens, that sounds so Ogden to me. I don't know if that's absolutely correct, but that is like one of those. And I think it may have to do with the, there's a lot of European immigrants in Utah, and depending on where, like the group from Scandinavia settled versus other parts of people, settled, they get different accents. But are there any others? I thought, wow, that's strange. Oh, and then the common one that most people know this, when we say mountain, most of Utah, a lot of Utah, just kind of roll over that T and mountain. My girls exaggerate and say mountain. I jokingly exaggerate it to, accentuate the leaving off the T. If you go to the Ma'as, so that's one thing. So mountain, and then in Hawaii, I have son-in-laws that grew up in Hawaii, and girls that went to school there, and they're saying some interesting things. That in Hawaii, they punch mountain. What was the word they punch the syllable, almost overly punch it on some words. I can't even think of it right now. I'll think of it maybe later. But and then back to Utah, the word keep still, and to steal something, to take something from someone to steal it, these seem to get reversed. Like let's have a meal together. Did you steal that? Did you steal that from somebody? and then they, for still, keep still. I'm trying to take a picture here. Keep still. Not everyone, but where I live here in Bountiful, it seems to be particularly strong. So some interesting things like that. Let's have a mill together, like a sawmill, instead of eating a meal together. Interesting. So accents are a funny thing. Let's see, how long have I talked? 8 minutes. Okay. I think that's all I'm going to say about accents, but yeah, I'm not one to, criticize people, the way people talk. I'm so glad that we talk differently and that there are different accents and there's different ethnicities have different ways of speaking, and the cultural aspects of that. I say celebrate it, but I just, and I think I was raised, well, my mother was British, so she was constantly correcting my English, and while I thought she pretty much lost her English accent by the time I came along, my friends would notice it, and the way she pronounced certain words. And then even in my, after I was an adult, I just started noticing things that the way my mom would pronounce things. She wouldn't say Chicago, she would say Chicago. And then growing up, my friends would get a huge kick out of the way she would say garage instead of garage. She would do a soft G, and I probably haven't inherited that from her garage. I call it the garage. But maybe she said garage. Put a little, change the vowel a little bit. Will you put this in the garage? The garage. I adopted the part of the garage, but the garage. I didn't get that from her, but that's the way she would pronounce it. And so probably some other words that my friends would get the biggest kick out of, but the accents are a funny thing, and I totally enjoy them, and I'm so glad that there's so many different accents. So that's all I want to say about accents. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.